I'm Suzanne Gillies, and I'm curating a section of this show called the 70s. I was co-director here at Plug-In from 72 to 1980, along with Douglas Sigurdsson and Lorraine Raboud. My interest in doing this particular project was to draw attention not just to the history, but also to the artists, because without the artists, Plug-In, of course, would have been nothing. And I'd like to say thank you to all the artists who worked with us and supported us and encouraged us. Thank you.
We confused them, and I think we offered them something that no one had ever presented to them before, and it intrigued them. I mean, they had a mandate to allow the public to use the public airwaves, to allow a certain amount of time each week to be used for whatever forum you had. And usually it was a two-camera interview situation. That was the only thing they were used to doing in that studio. So having us come along with this two-page proposal,
we just found it.
Quite hysterical.
Two pages of the deepest bullshit you ever saw, but it worked. It completely baffled
It was so creative.
Well, we told them we were going to explore the medium, that we were going to redefine the shape of people's television sets in their living room, that we were going to incorporate new media like Super 8 film and
slides
other sources, and we were going to use the static nature of the camera as an element of it, and we're going to use silence, all these things, everything that television was what we were going to have in this program. And I think the second show we did was called Shape Sharp Shore, and it was one camera shot with the sound of running water behind me. It was a pile of sugar cubes, and we dripped water on it for half an hour, and the sugar cubes slowly melted down over a mirror. They were saying, a mirror. You remember that one? That was
a classic.
That actually put that in their little in the video archive. And every now and then we turn on the TV and there it would be.
I know, and they would use it as fill for like 20 years after you did it. Oh, there it is again. We hear the water.
Oh man.
There we are, honey.
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks, yeah, because it was just hard to come up with, and we'd have to tape it in real time.
Yeah.
So that was part of the challenge of putting this together, and having everything prepared for 30 minutes, and sometimes they were really complicated. We'd have to bring lettuce to the studio. I mean, the things that we would cart down there were amazing.
But why lettuce?
Oh, it was Michelangelo amongst the twerps. I think it was that piece, wasn't it, honey?
Yeah. And it had something to do with lettuce leaves gently falling onto a little finger bell or something. I don't know, Suzanne. Something like that. Imagine someone today, though, walking into Shaw Cable and Channel 11 and giving them this proposal. I mean, they would be booted out so quick.
Yeah.
It's what's happened to that access of public access.
That
Where
so
did it go?
Much. Yeah, I do.
Well, isn't that an interesting question? Where did it go?
Yeah.
Well, obviously their mandate changed, and they don't have to allow the great unwashed on TV any longer. And it's really unfortunate. I think a lot of Winnipeg's creative community somehow ended up on Videon at one time or another. And we recognize even people in our neighborhood who become very familiar to you. You recognize them as characters, and we got to see all of those people on TV, weekly. And I think that just unified the city in some odd way, and being able to talk about these people and having them recognized, within your own daily environment.
That started in the fall of '77. We created this partnership in the spring of '77 by both quitting our jobs and renting a little house over on Lorette, about 4 blocks from here, and living in together, and becoming full-time artists, so to speak. Until we couldn't do that anymore. We had to work a little and then we'd be artists. So the TV show, I think, was 77 through 80. Early 80, we did an all-night show. Remember when music videos were just starting? We did the an all-night show, and I showed videos and was kind of on screen in a bowling shirt and that sort of stupid stuff.
So you did
That was
show
80s.
for 3 years.
Mhm.
Wow,
About
that's
2.5 years.
Well, still
It
a
was a
huge
long
amount.
time.
Huge
Yeah.
amount of work.
Mhm.
Huge amount
It
of
was,
work.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to follow up to Linda shooting those videos there, that was something that was so great about plug-in was when those were really the last times of access. When you think about it, that late 70s, early 80s, up to about 83, 84 was really the last time that artists had full access to spaces and to media. And in that sense, I mean, radio as well as TV. And plug-in was there for us. I mean, every time we needed a venue for 2 hours in an evening to shoot Mechanical Bliss or, you know, a dance piece or
Absolutely.
something like that, we always got it. With a minimal amount of bullshit, with a minimal amount of bureaucracy, with...
That just
oh,
just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
No.
So that's gone too.
We feel so lucky to have been part of the art scene and certainly to have been part of plug-in at that time.
Mhm.
You know, it was an energy there that was so welcoming and so empowering to someone like me who had no formal art training and who was still encouraged to create. It was really a wonderful thing. So thank you.
We really have a big debt to plug in.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you and Doug, when you left, there was a change of paradigm almost in the system, and that although to some degree that probably affected us in the early 80s, but our interests were shifting. We were becoming retailers at that
It was a
point. We
time
had
of
to-
transition for us
That's
too.
right.
You know, there were
Yeah.
lots of things changing at that time, and you're leaving, and
Mhm.
our art becoming commerce is what happened in the 80s.